What if I told you that $100, the price of a dinner out, a pair of sneakers, or a couple of streaming subscriptions you probably forgot you were paying for, could quietly, systematically, and almost automatically make you a millionaire? Not a get-rich-quick scheme, not a risky bet on a meme stock, not a lottery ticket, just one simple, boring, beautiful rule that most people walk right past every single month without ever realizing what they are missing. Welcome to Ron Invest. If you are serious about building real, lasting wealth on autopilot, and I mean the kind of wealth that changes your family's future, not just your bank balance, then you are in exactly the right place. Hit that like button, smash subscribe right now, and turn on your notifications. Because every single week on this channel, we break down the strategies, the math, and the mindset that separate people who build wealth from people who just wish they had. Today, we are going deep on what I call the $100 rule. And I promise you this, by the time this video is over, you will never look at $100 the same way again. Let's get into it. Let's start with the most important question. The one that sounds almost insultingly simple, but contains one of the most powerful truths in all of personal finance. What actually happens when you invest just $100 every single month? Most people hear that number and immediately dismiss it. That is not enough to matter. Rich people invest thousands, not hundreds. I will start when I have more money. And that right there, that exact thought process, is precisely why most people arrive at retirement age with almost nothing saved. They were waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect amount, the perfect conditions. And the perfect moment never came. Here's what the math actually says. $100 a month, invested consistently in a broad market index fund that averages around 10% annual returns, which is roughly the long-term historical average of the S&P 500, grows to over $76,000 in 20 years. Now keep going to 30 years, and you are looking at over $220,000. Push that to 40 years. The number most people never bother to calculate because the timeline feels too abstract. And that $100 a month quietly becomes over $600,000. And in some projections, factoring in dividend reinvestment and slightly higher average returns during strong decades, that number pushes past $1 million from $100 a month. No inheritance, no windfall, no secret strategy, just $100 every month, left alone to do its work. Let that sink in for a moment. So why does this actually work? What is happening underneath the surface? It comes down to three powerful forces operating together like a financial engine. And understanding all three is what separates the people who quietly build generational wealth from the people who spend their whole lives talking about it. The first force is compounding. Albert Einstein reportedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, and whether he actually said it or not does not matter, because the math more than proves the point. Here is what compounding actually means in plain language. Your money earns returns, then those returns earn returns on top of themselves. Then those returns earn returns on top of those returns. Every single month, your investment grows, and the next month, that larger amount earns even more. It is not a straight line moving upward. It is a curve that starts shallow and bends dramatically over time. And this is the part that trips almost everyone up. In the early years, the first 5, even the first 10 years, the curve looks almost completely flat. You are investing faithfully, and the growth feels invisible. This is where the majority of people quit. They invest for 2 or 3 years, see modest results, get frustrated, and walk away right before the curve starts to bend. But the magic of compounding lives entirely in the back half of the journey. The last 10 years of a 40-year investment timeline will produce more wealth than the first 30 years combined. That is not a motivational exaggeration. That is a mathematical fact. And the people who understand it are the ones who become millionaires without ever earning a millionaire's salary. The second force is dollar cost averaging. This is a phrase that sounds complicated but describes one of the most elegant and powerful strategies in investing. Here is what it means. When you invest the same fixed amount, in this case $100, every single month without exception, regardless of what the market is doing, something incredible happens automatically. When the market is going uppy and stock prices are high, your $100 buys fewer shares. But when the market is going down, when everyone else is panicking and selling, Your $100 buys more shares at a discount. You are automatically buying more when prices are low and less when prices are high. You are buying low without ever having to think about it, time it, or predict it. Over years and decades, your average cost per share ends up below the market average. And that difference is pure automatic profit. You do not need to watch the market every day. You do not need to predict crashes or recoveries. You do not need to be a financial genius. The strategy handles all of that for you, silently, every single month. The third force is habit and automation, and this might actually be the most important of the three, even though most financial channels never talk about it. Here is the uncomfortable truth. The biggest threat to your investment plan is not a stock market crash. It is not inflation. It is not bad luck. It is you. More specifically, it is the month you decide to skip because of an unexpected expense. It is the month you tell yourself you will double up next month to make up for it, and then forget. It is the vacation that wipes out your investment budget. It is the impulse purchase that felt urgent in the moment and irrelevant a week later. Human beings are emotional, impulsive, and easily distracted, and those qualities are the single biggest destroyer of long-term wealth. The solution is to remove yourself from the equation entirely. Set up an automatic investment transfer on payday. Before you pay your bills, before your fund money hits your spending account, before anything else, you pay yourself first. When the investment is automated, you never make the decision to invest. The decision was already made once when you set it up. And that one decision, made once and never revisited, will quietly build your wealth every single month for decades, whether you think about it or not. Now let's talk about where to actually put this $100, because depositing it into a savings account earning 0.5% interest is not going to get you anywhere close to those numbers. And throwing it into random individual stocks based on what you saw trending online is how you lose it. Your first and best option is a low-cost index fund. Specifically, something that tracks the S&P 500, the 500 largest publicly traded companies in the United States. When you invest in an S&P 500 index fund through providers like Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab, you are not betting on one company. You are buying a tiny slice of 500 companies at once: Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and 496 others. When the American economy grows, your investment grows with it. And the fees are almost nothing, often below 0.1% per year, which means almost every dollar you invest is working for you instead of going to fund managers who may or may not outperform the market anyway. Most of them do not. Your second option is an ETF, which stands for Exchange Traded Fund. ETFs work similarly to index funds, but trade on the stock exchange throughout the day like individual stocks, giving you slightly more flexibility. Popular ETFs for this strategy include SPY, VOO, and VTI. These are not exciting. They are not glamorous. You will never go viral talking about them, but they are the financial vehicles that quietly turned ordinary, consistent investors into millionaires, and they will do the same for you if you give them time. Your third option, and this is where most people leave enormous amounts of money on the table, is a tax-advantaged account, specifically a Roth IRA or a traditional 401k. Here is why this matters so much. If you invest $100 a month inside a standard brokerage account, you will owe taxes on your gains. But if you invest that same $100 inside a Roth IRA, your money grows completely tax-free. Every dividend, every gain, every dollar of that $600,000 or $1 million, you keep all of it when you retire because you already paid taxes on the contributions going in. The tax savings alone over a 40-year period can add hundreds of thousands of dollars to your final number. The account type you use to invest is almost as important as what you invest in, and most people never think about it at all. Now, I want to talk directly to the most common objection I hear, because I know some of you are thinking it right now. Ron, I genuinely do not have $100 a month to spare. My bills are tight. Life is expensive. I hear you, and I want to challenge that assumption, not to dismiss your situation, but because I think the math might surprise you. Most people who believe they cannot afford to invest have never actually audited their monthly spending in detail. Research consistently shows that the average person spends between $200 and $500 a month on what financial experts call lifestyle leakage, subscriptions they forgot about, takeout food more than they realize, impulse purchases that feel small individually but add up to enormous numbers over time. $100 is very often already being spent. The only question is what it is being spent on. Is it building your future or funding someone else's business? And if 100 truly feels impossible right now, then start with 50, start with 25, start with 10. The specific dollar amount matters far less than the habit you are building. Because once you establish the habit, once you watch that first $100 become 200, then 500, then 1,000, then 5,000, something shifts inside you. You stop seeing investing as a sacrifice or a restriction. You start seeing it as the most exciting and meaningful purchase you make every single month. You are not spending money. You are buying your future, 1 month at a time. Now here is where the strategy becomes truly extraordinary, and where most people never take it. The $100 rule is not about staying at $100 forever. It is about starting there. As your income grows over the years, as you eliminate debt, as your expenses stabilize, you increase your monthly contribution. And because of compounding, increasing your contribution does not just add to your result, it multiplies it in ways that feel almost unreal. This is called increasing rate investing, and it is one of the most underutilized wealth-building strategies available to everyday people. Let me walk you through a real example. Meet Sarah. She is 25 years old. She starts investing $100 a month into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund inside a Roth IRA. At 30, she gets a promotion and bumps her contribution to $200 a month. At 35, as her lifestyle stabilizes and some debt is paid off, she increases to $300. At 40, she pushes to $500 a month and leaves it there. She never earns a six-figure salary. She never inherits money. She never makes a single speculative trade. She just follows the rule and increases slowly over time. By age 65, based on historical market averages, Sarah's portfolio sits somewhere between $1.2 and $1.8 million. Not because she was brilliant, not because she was lucky, because she was consistent, and she started early enough to let compounding do the heavy lifting. Now, contrast Sarah with her friend Mike, who makes the same income but spends his 20s and 30s telling himself he will start investing when things settle down. He finally starts at 45, just 20 years before retirement instead of 40. Even if Mike invests $200 a month, double what Sarah started with, his ending balance at 65 will be a fraction of Sarah's. Not because the market treated him differently, but because he lost the two most valuable decades of compounding that he will never get back. Time is the ingredient that cannot be purchased, borrowed, or made up for later. It is the only truly irreplaceable resource in wealth building, and that is the real message underneath the $100 rule. Every month you wait does not just cost you $100. It costs you the compounded value of that $100 over every remaining year of your investment timeline. At 25, $100 invested has 40 years to compound. At 35, it has 30. At 45, it has 20. The difference between those outcomes is not linear. It is exponential. And most people never do that calculation because the result is too painful to look at, honestly. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time is right now. Not at the end of this video, not tomorrow, not after your next paycheck. Right now, while this is fresh and the math is real in your mind. So let me leave you with a clear, simple action plan. 3 steps, no excuses. Step 1. Open a brokerage account today if you do not already have one. Fidelity, Vanguard, and Schwab all offer accounts with 0 minimums and 0 account fees. The barrier to starting has never been lower in the history of investing. There is genuinely no excuse left. Step 2. Set up an automatic monthly investment of whatever amount you can honestly commit to right now. $100, $50, or even $25. Pick a date, ideally your payday, set the transfer, and do not touch it. Automation is the cheat code. Use it. Step 3. Leave it alone. Do not check it every day. Do not panic when the market has a bad month. And it will have bad months. Do not get greedy when it spikes. Do not second-guess the strategy every time a headline scares you. Trust the math. Trust the history. Trust the process. And let the engine run. That is the $100 rule. It is not complicated. It is not glamorous, but it is real. It is proven. And it has been working for patient, disciplined investors for generations. The only variable is whether you decide to be one of them, starting today. If this video gave you real value, please hit that like button right now. It takes 1 second, and it helps this channel reach more people who need to hear this message. Subscribe if you have not already, because we publish strategies like this every single week. And drop a comment below. I want to know, are you starting the $100 rule today? What amount are you beginning with? I read every single comment, and I respond to as many as I can. I am Ron Invest, and I will see you in the next one.